I have been enraptured by the power of prudence and purity, and I have been mocked for my will forged by truth, beauty, justice, and freedom. But I know growth is often painful, and a divine intervention which induces a hellish experience is necessary from time to time in the life of a free spirit. For this hellish experience gives the free spirit focus, discipline, and the ability to carve their will into existence and give until grief reminds them that they are, in fact, alive. That's an excerpt from my book here, the Book of Oldishness. And the reason that I want to talk about this with another Semen Retention Sunday episode here on the Regal Change account is that a lot of you guys are probably not going to be prepared for what I'm about to talk about. And so, if you're watching this, you've been warned, but you have to lose your mind in order to be on semen retention. You have to lose your mind. You have to let go. You have to let your mind become so raw, so psychedelic, almost even to the point of being bipolar, because you're giving people whiplash just with the energy that you're bringing to the table, that they have no choice but to see you as a gateway to a realm of higher consciousness. And that's exactly why I talked about what I talked about in my book, is because this whole universe, existence, whatever you want to call it, I call it the existence, because the universe to me encompasses something different, and there's definitely a semantic thing that's important there. But it's also that when you're on semen retention, you harness the true power of your connection with God. When you just know you're connected to God, you don't need to believe, you don't need to have faith, you just know. And that knowing you can push anything into existence. When you have a will that is truly forged by the pain of the past, because I think a lot of people are just waking up now. They don't know how or why they're waking up. And a lot of people are wanting to go back to sleep. And some of them can't go back to sleep. And so they're having this internal conflict with themselves for the rest of their life, because I've seen a few different kinds of people in my lifetime, which isn't even that long of a lifetime. I'm only 29, but I've seen a lot of different people in my lifetime where they almost get to the truth. Like, they're awakened to the spiritual realms and all of that, but they can't quite make that leap of faith. Like Soren Kierkegaard, if anybody's read about him, I consider him among the first actual psychologists, even though he was technically a philosopher. But he was a true psychologist in how he identified faith. There's a great book. It's Fear and Trembling, the Sickness unto Death. And he talks about Abraham quite a bit in that book. And he talks about how he can only admire Abraham for what he did. Now, he's talking about Abraham, for those of you that don't know the story, of Abraham who sacrificed, or was going to sacrifice, Isaac because God told him to, and he was going to be obedient. And he didn't know, he didn't want to, of course, but he wanted to be obedient to God, and he feared God. And this is another thing that you're going to have to do, and that's part of losing your mind. You have to let go. You have to learn how to let go of things. You have to learn how to just allow yourself to be free, because the semen retention experience is going to open you up to a new dimension of life. And a lot of people will say that it's pseudoscience and all this stuff. And, of course, this channel is not for those kinds of people. We go deep into the realms of spirituality, but also it's really not that deep. It's actually right there if you just have the will to see it. If you have the will to seek the truth, you're going to have the ability to see the truth. And that's actually pretty profound. You just thinking about it as I said it out loud, it's like, holy crap. If you just want the truth, if you're truly seeking the kingdom of God above all else, and no, I'm not one of these New Age spirituality, whatever. I'm not one of these pagan people pretending to be Christian, whatever like that. I've had a lot of people ask about my one-eyed symbolism in my profile picture. Okay, look to the scripture to where Jesus talks about your eye being single and full of light. The whole, like these freaking people, man, these manipulators and deceivers, guided only by fallen angels and deceived by the fallen angels, who are basically Satan's minions. They have been manipulated into taking symbols of God and perverting them, like the one-eyed symbolism. I genuinely think that's so. And like the rainbow. The rainbow is supposed to be a symbol of God's covenant, right? And God's grace and mercy and justice. It's the rainbow that's like, where's the rainbow, right? It's after the storm. So after the storm, then there's the rainbow. Then there's the recognition of the colors of life itself, illuminating itself into the existence. That's the whole point. That's exactly what this all is. And so when you're on semen retention, you're going to start to feel like things are a little bit more real than real. You don't really quite know how to describe it maybe sometimes as well. You don't really know how, it almost seems like a cartoon to you, right? Like life seems very cartoonish, and that's exactly what this life kind of is. It's a very high tech, think about you, this meat suit being like a high tech version of a vessel for your consciousness. The body's a vessel for the consciousness, and the body cannot survive without the soul, and the soul cannot survive without the body. We can get more into that in another video, but the point is that when you have a true raw connection with your mind, you're going to allow your body to relax. And the more your mind is able to let go of these past notions, the more your body is able to relax. And the more your body relaxes, the more in depth you can be with your mind, the more you can acknowledge the existence for what it truly is. And how beautiful, how amazing is this existence? How serendipitous is this experience of life? How joyful is this experience of life? How abundant is this experience of life? When you're focusing on these things because you're retaining your seed, because it's not about like how many days can I go on semen retention. It's about who am I? Who am I in accordance to the existence? Who am I in accordance to God? Who am I in regard to who I really am? Like, who am I to who am I? These are the kinds of questions that you start to ask yourself, and you start to really explore. And you start to think about like the shadow aspect of yourself, and the aggressive qualities of yourself, and how you can incorporate different things and into your life, and how you see that you've put certain things into a box for so long and put it deep in the dark alleyways of your house, and you're shoving them away, or you put them deep away in the attic or the basement, and you just don't even want to open them. And yet you might be missing the puzzle piece to life that's actually in that box. And that's what semen retention allows you to do. Semen retention allows you to actually let go and confront the world in a way that's not aggressive per se, but more dominant. Because that's what you're supposed to be as a man. You're supposed to be more dominant as a man. You don't need to spiritually neuter yourself around these people. And that's what's so crazy, is that a lot of people will want you to be neutered around them. They'll be like, they want you to, how do I say this? They want you to not be who you are at your core. And it's not to say that, maybe there are times when you don't need to be disagreeable and you're being disagreeable, or maybe you're being too agreeable and you need to be more disagreeable. there's discernment there that has to be made. But generally speaking, when you are just, I've been told that I'm a lot, and especially in between the ages of like 10 to 14, maybe 13, and then the ages of 25 to now, I've been told that I'm a lot. And through that time when I wasn't told that, I was basically just I was just a facade of myself. I created this. I didn't even create it. I just it was like a hologram of myself. I made a hologram of myself. Maybe constructed a hologram of myself is a better proper terminology. I constructed this version of myself that wasn't actually real because I wanted to fit in with people. I wanted to please people because I was a very empathetic person, to where I wanted to make sure that other people felt like I wasn't being an a-hole or a dick, even though I had no reason to think that. Like, I had no reason other than my nervous system was trained to go against myself. And this is one thing that we're going to be talking about in the Path of a Lion, the Golden Lion, that is, free event coming up in 2 weeks from now. That free event, if you want to register for it, it'll be online, and the link's in the description box below for it. And we're going to be talking about Stoic principles. We're going to be talking about how to reconnect with your body and semen retention. This is also going to be the place and the time to ask the questions about semen retention, etc. Okay, because this is going to be it, right? This is the creme de la creme of how to understand what semen retention actually is. It's a reconnecting with yourself and God. Because really, what you're doing when you don't actually adhere to the law, statutes, and commandments of God is you're betraying yourself. You're really betraying your past self. You're not praying for your past self. You're not praying for your future self. You're literally betraying yourself by disrespecting yourself. And so if you can learn how to harness these principles, and it's not about, I'm going to talk more about this in the free event, but it's not about like reading the books of Marcus Aurelius. Now, don't get me wrong, those are great and very helpful. And obviously with the Regal Change Academy, we did a Legends of Stoicism class a few months back, earlier in the year. And that was great. I think that was fantastic. But if you don't apply the principles, if you don't actually experience life, you're just thinking about thoughts, and that's not really going to be helpful. So we're going to be going more into detail about that in the free event. But, for now, the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away from this video is you have to let go of what you think you know about your mind. You have to unlearn what you've learned from hurt people who hurt people. And that's really the main essence of the video today. So I hope you all stay blessed. Peace. Until next time.